Give Me A Fast Megabus. At the club, telling my crush, the megabus is a site of eros and possibility. I do think the megabus is hot, though realized later it maybe sounded niche or hyperbolic. But don't we all know the New Jersey Turnpike is a classic liminal space of longing? Even before Bruce Springsteen made New Jersey sexy, with Sleep Machine, union labor, and daddy issues, we had the Simon and Garfunkel boys, teeming with desire over the land they were promised as inheritance. Counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike, they've all come to look for America. Sure, it's gorgeous harmony, but that nostalgia for land and nuclear fam smells like manifest destiny. In her biomythography, Audre Lorde, coming from New York, beside myself, for her lover at the Arch Street Y, wanting, in frustration, what's wrong for her. Passing 70 miles per hour between New York and Philadelphia, what else could we feel but propelled towards elsewhere, interminably stuck in the here and now? The unattainability and desire is what makes it hot anyway. I grew up thinking Jersey was ugly, but didn't have much leverage as a kid from Delaware, or, as I'd front, outside Philly. But something surprises now about the yellowed edges on the turnpike's meadowland fields. Perpetual fall, fleeting, lush, degraded by corporations, teetering on ecological collapse, but still glowing. Then Capitol confronts, with the sign Trenton makes, the world takes. The reminder of labor's extraction looming gloomy over the city's alienating source of pride. Riding the bus, I don't know if I'm turned on because my legacy visiting lovers, or the vibrations on the seat. Probably both. I can't untether myself from Philadelphia, though I proselytize New York. Relate to how Whitman's attracted to literally everyone in the city, but for me it's West Philly queers. Maybe because of when I first kissed R and spent the morning bus inside their sweater, blushing, plaiting, aching, feeling like I was in a dream. Riding back after they broke up with me, reading a lover's discourse, working to cry in a chill way. I never feel so aware of my body as I do on the megabus. Excess muscle memory of longing. You host a competition. Marry me on a megabus. The only reason to sign away intimacy to the state, other than immigration and insurance, of course. Dear Megabus, have you considered showing up on time? Dear Megabus, have you considered free rides? Dear Megabus, I don't mean this as brand worship. I blush at my affection. But have you considered doing an Amtrak-style writer's residency? On our 12th anniversary, the Megabus is proud to announce our inaugural program for today's up-and-coming writers, journalists, bloggers, meme makers, think piecers, social media mavens, first-person industrial complex superstars. Our fleet of clean, comfortable, maintained accessible buses will host some of today's promising rising voices. Dear Megabus, you make no presumptions about your mediocrity, and I love that for you. Megabus captivated international audiences, first in London, then across Europe and the United States, for the promise of an effectively free ride. The excess obviousness of its appeal, ride for $1 on the winding double-deckers through the urban centers of the US and Europe, touting an engorged price tag. Honestly insulting, the pride with which it parades its fare. Criminal that coach travel will cost less than so-called public transit, that the NYPD holds youth at gunpoint over $2.75, that the city pays more for scaling up cops than fixing the subway, to then be promised that for $1 you could leave the broken MTA for Philadelphia, Albany, somewhere you can bike without getting hit by an Uber. Perhaps the $1 is a spectral lure. I've checked it for weeks now. Can't get less than $5 myself. Unfulfilled promise is maybe the truest brand of the megabus. Initiation to wanting, steeped in deep transience, flowing through the circuit. Gay beach, club, dyke Instagram. Back to Philadelphia, the city I once lived in, who initiated me towards a public queerness. In my New York brownstone, growing family, making morning eggs for lovers, at whom my 6 roommates will respectively cast a knowing gaze. Every day a longing pours out of me. Never have I ever U-hauled. No one in my web would approach. Too busy making out with each other at happy fun. And still, it was charming, perhaps tired like stereotype holds. Curious about a desire that's more collective, less material, grounded, tethered to private property or real estate. So, what about megabus-like politics? A manifesto to ephemera, to getting turned on by citational logic, to vast musical pleasure, not everything except rap and country, to waiting interminably for your crush to come back from tour, to unaccomplished desire, unmet deadlines, late arrivals, puberty 2, art of failure, disco, not twee, glitter, not Carhartt, to studying friendship with an attention as sacred and precise as the way you approach a lover, to lust and gossip pulsing in equal turn through the nets we weave. It is idle to fault a net for having holes. To wondering if your devotion to pleasure is deeply anti-capitalist or playing into its whole game. Lust as conduit through commodity traffic and streets of fire. Desire is bound to place, but its instability, its impossessibility. The back and forth, the baffling language, the shame and pleasure of it all. In any event, I did tell my club crush about you. And we talked travel songs. Lucinda Williams, P.S. Eliot. And 4 a.m., we're the only people still speaking. And we fucked Sweet and Vanilla, and I left wanting more.